Guanajuato is one of the most colorful, interesting, and popular destinations in Mexico. Visitors enjoy places like the university, the many beautiful churches, restaurants, tunnels, callejones, among other places. But today, we're going to visit different places in Guanajuato to explain just how Guanajuato became Guanajuato. Hey everybody, this is Andy from the Timeless Travel Club, and for a while now I have been traveling Mexico, putting a spotlight on your future vacation, relocation, or retirement destinations. Now you might want to consider subscribing to the Timeless Travel Club. Why should you subscribe to the Timeless Travel Club? Well, you just might pick up some travel tips through my experiences going from city to city. Some of them are great travel tips and some of them maybe not so much through my mistakes. Nonetheless, you will learn with me. Or you might just want to tag along because you'll be in the club, the travel club, which is timeless. Now those of you that watch my videos, you know that I have a sweet tooth for history that I often have to indulge in. And fortunately, a friend of mine, Dan, recommended a tour guide that I met with. His name is Manuel Arzola, and I'm gonna leave his information in the description below. But Manuel is 80 years young, and this guy is the most spry I hope to be like Manuel when I get to be 80. Seriously, the guy does not miss a step, and he has so much history to offer with regards to Guanajuato because he was born and raised here. Another good choice that I made was meeting up with a taxi driver the first taxi driver that I rode with while here, and his name is Jorge Vazquez. And again, his information will be in the description. Now the three of us made a pretty good team. I want to introduce you before I say anything more to my team. Where are you going? ¿Dónde vas?
Aquí.
This is the jefe.
Hello.
This is Manuel.
Hi, how's it going?
And
This is Jorge.
Jorge. He's the second boss.
Second boss, yeah.
All right, let's go.
Sosten Rocha. He was the one who gave the orders to execute Maximilian, once Emperor of Mexico.
So you are invited to join us on this history-based journey. How Guanajuato became Guanajuato.
You know the city population now,
Yes.
200,000 inhabitants, and 12,000 when I was about 9 to 10. I remember no houses you could see around here.
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Manuel, Jorge, and I, we headed uphill for a while to this incredible panoramic view of Guanajuato. Our first stop was the Mina de San Vicente and the Iglesia de Nuestra Señora de Merced. Now this was the very first mine that the Spaniards discovered in Guanajuato. And this church was significant because of the visitors. Miguel Hidalgo, this is the place that he came from, San Miguel de Allende, the story that I explained from my previous video. And Maximilian, the Emperor of Mexico, who Manuel just mentioned, rode through here when he arrived to take the throne. So the gray building that you see off in the distance, that is the Castillo Santa Cecilia. And Manuel, he wanted to take me there very badly. It's a very interesting medieval looking castle place, but it was built in the 1950s, kind of as a novelty. But it was dear to Manuel because he remembers it being built when he was a young man, and he is just as nostalgic as the rest of us. Now, who am I to deny Manuel? Well, this video is going to be short of featuring him more so than Guanajuato because he is part of Guanajuato's history. He's been here since the 1940s.
You know what he did was the kind of hat he used to wear? Shaving ball.
The what?
Used to be shaving ball.
Oh, is that right? A shaving bowl.
Shaving ball, you know the.
Oh, for the barba? Let me tell you about Donmanuel. This guy, I asked him, what is your secret for being so young for so long? And he says, well, you know, first off, I take a hike. I hike every other day. I take a hike, a lengthy hike. My wife, he says, is 20 years my junior. That'll do it. When it was time to square up with him when the tour was over, he wouldn't give me a price. I asked him, how much do I owe you? Whatever you want to give. Whatever you want to pay me. Who does that? I paid him well. And you know, this man at 60 years of age, he went back to college. He saw a sign posted that said free English lessons and free training on how to become a tour guide. That's how he learned his trade. That's where he learned English at 60 years old. He used to be a pottery maker. Retired, wanted to do something new. And so there he is now. You can find him. If you go to the Teatro de Juarez, he's standing off in the corner with all the other tour guides. I thoroughly enjoyed Donmanuel. His knowledge is incredible of everything Guanajuato, and he's such a humble man. You will really enjoy him. Now, most people come here for a tripila, for this view, but I'm here for the hike. I'm going a little bit further upon request of Donmanuel from yesterday. So let's go hiking. How do you say hike in Spanish? All right, I'm going to let you all on a little secret. Apparently, here in Mexico, they grow cerveza on trees. Now, you're all familiar with the mosaic color scheme of Guanajuato. I don't know what else you want to call it. I was reading this blog about the history of Guanajuato. And this author said that originally, way back, hundreds of years, there was a lady that lived on the hill, and walked down to the center plaza and bumped into an old friend of hers. And she invited this friend. She says, you need to come up and visit me at my house. So, time goes by, this lady up on the hill walks back down to the center plaza and bumps into this lady again and says, what's going on? I invited you to my house and you don't show up. Her friend says, I tried. I walked up to the hill, the area where you told me, and I could not find your house. I got lost. Well, you have to come again. And she gave her more detailed directions. Time goes on. The lady on the hill walks back down, goes shopping down in the center plaza, bumps into her old friend again. What is up? I don't know what language they're using, probably Spanish, but they wouldn't say, what is up? Why haven't you come to visit me? I'm getting offended now. And the lady says again, I tried again. There are so many callejones and streets and I couldn't find it. I'm so sorry, my apology. So the lady on the hill, she thinks about this and she says, you know, I'm gonna paint my house. Everything looks the same. It's no wonder she couldn't find my house. So she paints her house this god-awful color and says, there's no way that this lady, my friend, is gonna get lost. And sure enough, there she is the next day. Her friend found the house because it was a unique color that stood out. The neighborhood thinks this is a brilliant idea, so everybody starts painting their house because apparently they all had the same problem. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. It's probably pretty much folklore. And even Manuel could not confirm or deny the validity of the story. One thing that Manuel did share with me, he says there is a city ordinance during modern times that states that one house next door to another house cannot have the same color, keeping the consistent theme of the mosaic color scheme of Guanajuato. That's pretty famous now. So bam, there you go. Another reason how Guanajuato became Guanajuato. Jorge, my taxi driver, took me to a location I found very interesting. It was the Hacienda San Gabriel de Barrera, which was the home of a Spanish mining tycoon in the late 1600s. And today, you can visit this hacienda for a mere 45 pesos. And if you want to be accompanied by your camera, an extra 40 pesos. This is the perfect spot if you want to get away from the hustle of the Guanajuato tourist areas. And on this particular day, I was the only visitor to enjoy its many beautiful gardens. So I was free to shoot a lot of video. So here are some more Guanajuato tidbits on how Guanajuato became Guanajuato. Guanajuato has one of the largest pedestrian-only areas in Mexico. That kind of left me scratching my head though, because have you been to Mexico City? I think that one takes the cake. But you know, I really appreciate the wide avenues where you can walk up and down the center squares without worrying about taxis or buses rubbing up against you. Something else I found very interesting is that the silver mines in Guanajuato made Guanajuato the richest city in Mexico back in the day, back when the Spaniards were around. It also produced 20% of all the world's silver. 20%, that was amazing. Now most of you probably know this just by looking at it, but many of its churches' architecture was built with a Baroque style, which makes me feel a little homesick since I too am Baroque. Guanajuato was not built with a city plan in mind. Before the Spaniards came, where the Chichimecas owned their native lands, all of the major roads, callejones, and tunnels that currently exist in modern day Guanajuato used to be rivers and brooks and streams, and all the building happened around all those rivers. So that's why Guanajuato is such a mismatch of nonsensical directions and roads that really gives it its charm. In closing the day, we spent time by the Pena de Oya, which is a local dam. And this place has an interesting story. There's actually a festival that occurs every June. Now, way back during the President Porfirio Diaz day, he contracted a group of prisoners from the local prison to go out and work on a 5-year project, a pet project of his, with the agreement that after this project's completion, they would be set free. Well, the project was completed and Porfirio Diaz sent these prisoners back to jail. These days, there is a festival. It's called the Apertura de Pena de Oya. And every year at this dam, they select a brand new festival queen. And she's responsible, or one of her responsibilities, is to go to the local prison and select 2 prisoners from a lineup. She doesn't know their names, she doesn't know the nature of their crime, but these prisoners are sent to the dam to ceremoniously open the floodgates. After they fulfill this responsibility, both of the prisoners are set free. And this is to help ease the pain of the past dubious deeds of Porfirio Diaz. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video about the beginnings of the city of Guanajuato. And by the way, the taxi driver Jorge is also a superhost of his family-owned Airbnb, and I'm going to show you that Airbnb on the next video. Well, it's been a long and difficult year for all of us, and I'd like to thank friends and family who put up with me in my journey through Mexico, and I'd also like to give thanks to a special couple of friends from the Tangerine Travels. And I say that it's because every once in a while they will plug my channel, and they don't have to do that. They are wonderful human beings who every time they mention my channel, I get a transfusion of new viewers. So I truly appreciate that. So Maddie and Jordan, kudos to you. Now I'm just curious, for those of you that watch my videos, how many of you are also followers of Maddie and Jordan's Tangerine Travels? How many of you have crossed over? Give me a thumbs up or comment anything else you would like for that matter. And so with that said, with Christmas on the horizon, I send you all good travel vibes from the Timeless Travel Club.